Amy, I got a lot of presents from Santa.
What'd you get?
A PlayStation 5.
Do you know that for a fact?
Well, okay. All right. The curtain's up. It's right before Christmas, and I am sort of like a hound dog. Before Christmas Day, whenever Penny and Megan are in the other room, I start sniffing and
Sniffing.
shaking. You can hear me a sniffing. When Santa Claus is coming down the chimney, Riley starts sniffing for all of his Christmas presents. And the shape of one and its weight and sort of the clanking it
Mm,
makes within it really, really sounds like it could quite possibly be a Sony PlayStation 5. So could be
that's
good.
huge.
That's huge. It's going to be good for my video game time of my day that I have. Like, that hour to 2 hours a night that I have to play video games.
Very
What about
nice.
you? I mean, I know that this is coming on the 26th, and you don't
Yeah.
absolutely know what's under your Christmas tree. But is there anything that you're sort of, when you made your list and you checked it twice, and I know you already got on the nice list for Santa, anything that you're kind of thinking about that's sort of causing you to salivate this Christmas?
Hmm. What did I ask for? I was just saying I kind of sent my mom a list under duress, and so I
Yeah,
like don't remember
that's
what
cool.
I asked for. Like I was like, um, I think I was like, oh my God, it pulled up my one from last year. That's not what I'm looking for.
This year.
Come on. Um, let's see here. I don't know. I
Oh,
literally don't remember what I
Yeah.
asked
Oh no,
for.
it's okay. It's okay. It's nice that even anybody, asks me specifically like things that I want. Like it's really sweet. Like we still get presents. I'm 40 canonically.
Right.
And but it's nice. I'd say like those beefy Hanes t-shirts with pockets. Just random stuff. Because people do ask still. As old as you
It's
get,
true.
people still want to know. It's not I don't think it's too weird.
Yeah,
But
it
I've
makes it easier. It looks like I asked for some clothes. I asked for a quilt,
oh, that's
uh,
sweet.
for my bed.
Oh.
Um, some stuff from Bagu because I never have enough.
Oh my God.
Um, I asked for a toilet brush,
That's awesome.
a
What
cool
kind?
one. It
Really?
it looks like a cherry.
Oh, that is so cool. Oh my God, that beats the living shit out of the or not toothbrush, toilet brush that I
I
have.
hope
Mine
you're
looks
not confusing it with the toothbrush.
absolutely not. No, mine's much bigger and looks way weirder, but that's awesome. Well, I'm hoping I want to bring the curtain back up. I hope you get everything that you dream of. But for our listeners, Turtle Time listeners, I hope you made your list and someone got you something that you cherished and maybe somebody pulled off the gift um the surprise of the century on you where you don't even ask for something and someone knew you so well that they gave you a
Nailed
gift
it.
and you go, oh my God, I didn't even know I wanted this. That's like another tier of gift giving. I can do that 1 out of 100 gifts. Can I predict what I think someone would truly love?
Right.
It speaks to me and not being able to really read people.
Someone was just saying that a good idea is to start your list for next year now. So like every time, just have a running list, and every
Yeah.
time someone mentions something or when it's something occurs to you, jot it down, and then you get to the end of the year and you're like, I already
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that is so cool. And I try to do that specifically, with Megan. Like she's the one who I'm listening to her
Uh-huh.
talk about stuff that she needs. And I really try to, blow her away every year. But sometimes I blow it just completely. But I'm hoping this year, I mean, I'll give you the full present scoop after, but I've got some surprise picks this year,
Oh,
for
hell yeah.
my loved ones. I'm really hoping it's going to be good. Well,
Nice.
the reason we're talking about all this Santa shit is because it's the 26th, and Amy and I are sort of on a trip right now.
Yeah.
We're not, I'm not here now at my home on the 26th. You're not.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You're not on your home, but you're going on a trip, and we needed to create Turtle Time programming. We're contractually obligated to put a certain amount of episodes out a week. And so we thought it might be fun to do the first ever main feed Q&A. We did one on Patreon when you and I were going through the worst times of our lives. What was it? A year ago,
Almost two.
almost 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years ago, you and I were going through one of the worst times of our lives, the worst things that anybody could ever go through, probably. And then we did one for our Patreon members, but this
Yeah.
one has some questions that we've never addressed for for Turtle Time listeners. Not everybody's a Villa Rosa VIP. Can you imagine?
It's true. Yeah. Some other pods call this a mailbag
Oh,
episode.
oh,
That is what we're doing. We are opening our sack of mail from both our Patreon comments and our Instagram comments and answering your hottest, most boiling questions.
these are hot. We ranked them from sexiest to least sexy. So as you're listening,
sexy, unique
yeah,
questions.
think of how we were ranking it. Really, really sexy at the top, and then towards the bottom is the least sexy because we wanted to be really, really hot up front. But you said opening up a big sack of mail, just like I have to say, it's Santa Claus opening up a big bag of toys to deliver.
It's true. Santa's job is done, and now ours begins. I did get a big gulp to get me through.
That's awesome. I got what is the worst tasting coffee I've ever had in my life. Oh, you can't even see it. Trader Joe's put out their own cold brew coffee, and I go, Megan, will you do me a Christmas treat and let me have one of these? And she goes, sure, if you only get one. And I got it, and it's the worst tasting coffee I've ever had in my life. Seriously,
that's sad.
It was already on that shelf where they were like, we're gonna get rid of this soon, so get it while it's still here. But oh my god, it sucks so bad. But yeah, I'm ready to rip. Let's rip it up.
Okay.
First annual Turtle Time Q&A, but second for our Villa Rosa VIPs who heard this about 2 years ago. But the burning question at the top of the hour, this one was like 1/5 of the questions. Is how you and I met each other.
Right. Yeah, everyone's very confused. Some people still think we're married, even though we record remotely.
Wes Wilson did.
Yeah.
He came up to us and we had our wives and our significant others, and he goes, "Do you guys ever get that you guys are like a married couple that are podcast co-hosts?"
Yeah, and I was like, "Did you think that until right now?" And he's like, "Yes." I felt like we were like conned him or something. Like he came under false pretenses because you were like, "Here's my pregnant wife," and he was like, "What the fuck?"
He was kind of like, "What the hell's going on over here?" He was so sweet about it. He was so sweet about it, but he was like, "What the hell? I thought you guys were married." But that would be funny if we were a married podcast. We never really think about it.
That's crazy. Yeah. No. The easy answer, I guess, is just that you used to work with my boyfriend, Jimmy, at Tim and Eric's production company, Absolutely Productions. And that's the long and short of it.
Yes. I was an intern at Absolutely Productions. It was the job of my dreams. I got to work on the Eric Andre show. I met 90% of all of my friends that I still love today from my career at Absolutely Productions. It was seriously the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. And I remember the first week of being an intern, Jimmy was an associate producer on it, and I had no scale of what the hell different departments were. When you hear producer on set, I had no gauge for anything in the world. I was like, this is the most powerful person on set by far. Hello, Jimmy. Hello, Jonathan Roig. Hello, all these producers. Hello, Eric Andre.
Yeah.
And I had no, and then I got to sort of focus on work, obviously first. I was trying to be the best intern I could. And then I got to know Jimmy a little bit more as a human when we would all go out and party and go to El Chavo together. And then you and I, because you'd been dating Jimmy that entire time that I knew before. And so we would see each other, I would say, once every 6 months for 10 years.
Right. Yeah. I would go as far as to say we were acquaintances.
Yeah, of course you got to give us that. Yes, I knew you. We talked. We had conversations. And then I will say this is a nice thing. Once we became friends, I'm going to use real names. I don't think anybody will care to remain nameless. But Megan and I became much better friends with Lindsay, who is one of your great friends.
Right.
And that got us to an upper tier level of friendship where it was not Jimmy specific.
Right.
I had my own APSO friends or whatever, but then now we got to this sort of upper echelon of being friends in sort of different, in like more smaller groups and gatherings. And then as stuff was picking up steam with this Scandival shit, do you remember that stuff? 2023, March.
Yeah. I think it was like, I don't remember exactly there had been pre-Scandival discussions
Yes.
where your wife, Megan, was like, Riley has been noodling on the idea of some sort of a Bravo podcast because you had already started your TikTok journey, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they were doing well. People were starting to be like, who is this guy? And she was like, he's been noodling on like doing a pod because we're pod curious.
Oh yeah, I've started so many podcasts. Don't search my name in podcasts, but I've done a lot, like maybe 3 or 4 different podcast iterations. So I've always wanted to have an ongoing one. This is like the dream of what I always wanted.
And I think I was, as we were hanging out more and more, it was becoming clear that I was maybe the person, I don't know, the only person, but one of the only people that would call themselves some sort of an armchair expert in the Bravo realm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so I remember that was happening. This was before Scandival. This was before Scandival because you have to remember we went to the Scandival thing together.
Right.
As a group.
Just for fun.
Not the Scandival, the TomTom thing, just for fun. So we already had a shared Bravo interest. There was no inciting incident that made us all scream to go over there. That was just for fun to go watch Vanderpump Rules, a screening of an episode at TomTom, which is what that event was. But before that, we had already broached the topic of doing it at Lindsay's house when we were all together partying, I think probably to celebrate, I don't know, I think maybe her daughter's birthday.
Yeah, like Franny's birthday. Yeah. So yeah, it had been mentioned. I was freshly unemployed because David Zasloff at Warner Brothers gave me the axe personally. No, he walked into my cubicle and he was like, "You specifically need to get the fuck out of here." And so I didn't have anything else to do, and I was like, if I had a regular normal job, I maybe wouldn't have done it because it takes a lot of time. But I was like, why the fuck not? I guess, like.
Yeah. And you got to imagine how like low our expectations must have been. Like, we'll do it a week, and you know what I mean? Like, this has been, not to like get wistful or whatever, but like this has been 1,000,000 times more than anything that we would have ever thought when we began. But it turns out that we sort of had the universe or a sun shining down on us, some fate, because when we went to that event and we'd already broached the topic, it just happened to be the Scandival inciting incident. And then you had a reason to rush over 2 days later and us record our first episode, which was our bird's eye view of everything we had witnessed.
Right.
And then it was kind of like, well, what the hell else is this about? Recapping the Vanderpump Rules and looking for hints of Scandival in season 10, Right. And then it morphed and evolved into what the beautiful podcast it is today.
Right. So that was, Wednesday night? Or was it Tuesday? What night was Vanderpump Rules on at the time? It was like Tuesday or Wednesday or something.
Oh God, March 1st, 2023. Let me get my calendar. I don't know. What was it?
And then, we went to bed that night not knowing what we had possibly seen, we were none the wiser. And then Friday morning, I was on a flight to Vegas. I've told the story before, but I'll refresh everyone. Mm-hmm. I was on a flight to Vegas. We landed in Vegas. We were in the car on the way to the Wynn Buffet, and TMZ alert drops, and it's like, Raquel Leviss affair with Tom Sandoval. And we were like, that's wrong, because we just have been watching how she's like with Schwartz. Like, we were like, what is this? And then all the pieces started to come together. We were freaking the fuck out. We were reading every single news story, comment, every development. We were watching it so closely. We were like, holy fucking shit. I remember all the stuff started coming out about how she found his phone and was looking at the video, etc. And Jimmy was like, oh my God, remember when Lindsay and Megan were in the bathroom, and they were like, it was kind of weird. Ariana was in the bathroom and she wasn't making a peep, so we didn't even know she was in there, and she busted out of the stall and she seemed really aggravated, and they were like, that was weird, but whatever. Jimmy was like, she was looking at the fucking video at that very moment. I was like, you're completely right. Like, that's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
So we were like Columboing our way, and I was like, okay, I think I saw Ariana the second she found his phone and was freaking out. The girls were in the bathroom when she was watching the video. We saw, like, we had to piece together, like, they had left for the night, like at one point, I think. And then there was the updates from Watch What Happens Live of everything that was going on. So anyways, we were like, we have the inside scoop that it gives us the reason to begin the journey. Like, it's undeniable. It was our call. What's that called? The hero's journeys.
Yeah.
The call.
Yeah, the call. Oh, yeah. You got to refuse the call first. Every movie.
I tried.
Yeah, I know. We did. We said one and done. What the hell is this? But no, we kept going. We answered the call. After refusing it a couple times, we answered the call, and it became, the sort of monumental podcast it is today.
Groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking. So that explains how we met, how we started the pod, and then this is personal and kind of sexy, right? How we met our partners.
Yeah. Mine was another comedy story. I interned on The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien with Jimmy. And that's how we met in 2009, a million years ago.
2009. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That is when I started. That's when no, never mind. No, that's when I first moved out to LA. I didn't start at APSO till 2013. So
okay.
Jimmy had a long journey before he got to the APSO world. So what were, not to get too sexy, but as interns on the Tonight Show, was it sort of like winking and flirty glances, sitting behind the desk while Conan was gone?
Right. Yeah. Sneaking into Conan's dressing room. I had been there already. I did like 2 terms, whatever you want to call it. I was there for like 6 months, like unpaid. And I was like, I'm not fucking leaving. You can't get me out of here. Like, I don't have shit else to do. Still lived with my parents. I actually had to pay to intern because since I wasn't in college, I had to do a UCLA extension class that I was technically getting, because NBC was like, you have to be attached to some other entity. So I paid for a unit at UCLA to be allowed to intern. So I paid to intern, and I did it for like the summer and the fall, and Jimmy joined in fall. So I was like an OG already. There were some people that were even there pre-summer, like, because it was a brand new show, so they had to set up everything leading up to the show beginning. But I started like right when the show started through essentially its end, because as we all know, it did not last very long.
No. Will Ferrell, I remember. Didn't he bring a guitar out and start singing? Was that the final episode of Conan? Do you remember?
What did it end in? What was the date? That's a good question. What was the final?
I forget. I just remember it was like, because I remember Team Coco Fever was going on, but I remember Will Ferrell was his first guest, and then you're supposed to end your run with the same guest, and so Will Ferrell was brought on like 6 months later, just kind of like saying goodbye to Conan. But all right, well, so sparks were flying in some way, I guess.
Yeah, and then I think our first date, we went to a cemetery screening of, was it Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Wow.
Was it that?
That's cool.
My memory's so shit. We were with another intern and a girl that he was on a date with, who then I ended up knowing in another way, like way later. And I was like, holy shit, was that you? And then I remember we saw the Muppet movie at that theater on Fairfax that is like gutted now, that like Regency Fairfax theater. There's like, it like doesn't exist anymore. And we saw a lot of movies at the Cinefamily as well.
Oh, I remember Cinefamily. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, good. All right. Well, that's beautiful. I have to ask, was Conan nice to all you interns?
He was. I didn't interact with him very much. He, minded his business, but whenever anyone did, he was really nice. And I'm thinking of Conan right now in December 2025. I love him, and I hope he's okay.
Me too. Oh my God, it's like the worst thing in the world to have your name in the headlines about that. That's horrible. Yeah. Okay. I met Megan. I think I already said this. I moved. We both are from Florida, but we both moved to LA at different times. We didn't know each other at all, but we had some Florida connections in a way who moved out here, and this couple, John Paul and Annika, were getting married, and I was a friend of John Paul, who I love. She was a friend of Annika, and they had a wedding, and so I got invited, and I was like one of the last invites. I was a straggler. John Paul had like 4 extra invites or something, and he gave it to his best friend's friends. Like I was close to John Paul, but I was like, and it was at the Ace in Palm
Nice.
Springs. It was the most coveted wedding invite for someone who's never been to weddings. I don't know, it was just like very cool at that. And then anyway, Megan was one of the people. Obviously, we're all partying at the Amigo Room, which is the Ace Hotel bar. And then Megan and I had sparks flying in our eyes. We had a 10-minute talk out of everyone that was sort of crowded in that bar. And then Megan wore this coat that looked like Jon Snow. Game of Thrones was huge. I was just like Stassi in Vanderpump Rules. Game of Thrones was huge. She had this big feather jacket that looked like she was Jon Snow, and a very pivotal thing had just happened to Jon Snow. So I said, Megan, who I don't know, will you please be Jon Snow in this Snapchat of mine? I got the funniest idea in the world. All my friends are going to pretend like they stab you as they walk across. So we did this, one of the most iconic Snapchats you've ever seen in your life. And then it was like she had a date for that wedding. So it was like 3 weeks later or something that she asked for my contact info because I was the guy and Sparks had flown, and that Snapchat had gotten to, it's like she wanted to see it or whatever. And then it sort of got to, talking on a more personal level and going on dates and stuff. And then the rest is history. I mean,
do you have that Snapchat downloaded?
I do. Yep,
okay.
I do. Because I think on our 5th year anniversary, or our first wedding anniversary, I showed it off. It's pretty cool. It's me, my friend Pete, a couple other people just pretending to stab Megan in this coat. Kind of a weird, odd thing. But it was just, I didn't know her at all. And it was Game of Thrones fever. I mean, we all had it.
You were a content creator way back.
Yeah. I was thinking of silly ideas all the time. And so, yeah, it's obvious. I'm not going to bore you all with everything, but it's been almost 10 years now. I mean, I knew her around my 30th birthday, and I just turned 40. So
it's wonderful.
Great. Beautiful. Well, I hope that was I felt like that was kind of sexy.
Yeah.
All right. I love this first question. I can answer this one, and you let me know what you think. Okay. When Don Draper says to Michael Ginsburg from Mad Men, I don't think about you at all. Do you think he really doesn't think about him, Michael Ginsburg, at all? Or he does maybe a little bit? Wonderful question. One of our Villa Rosa VIPs, I think, asked this question. Yes, Don Draper was thinking about Michael Ginsburg. He was trying to appear really cool. In the elevator, he said a very cool, iconic thing. I don't think about you at all. That's the meme that we see, and it's used to sort of big dog people or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wow, isn't that the most epic retort?
Cruel.
Yeah, like, oh my God, that's crazy that he said that. But really, you got to remember the context. He stole Michael Ginsburg's, I think, one of his lines or his entire pitch, and didn't give him credit. And I think Don Draper always secretly did think that Michael Ginsburg was a creative, unfiltered spirit, but didn't give a shit about stealing from him at that point. So it's kind of to make Michael Ginsburg feel bad, even though he secretly knows that he did steal from him. Is that your recollection at all of that moment? Or do you remember?
Yeah, I was going to say I need a refresher on the context. I think I'm a one and done. Not saying I won't watch it again, but I have not watched it again since. So I need to revisit. I'm interested in revisiting. I feel like it'll take me a long time because it's kind of a slow burn. But maybe you disagree.
Oh, it's slow. No, it's a slow burn as hell. You're like, what's Pete Campbell doing in this driver's ed course? There's so much subtext on the show. That's what I actually like about it. You're like, it's like you're watching a weird, like slow TV, or like you're trying to decipher a painting. I'm like, what does this scene mean? But there's always usually some major artistic decision for why two people are saying what they're saying or doing what they're doing, but you have to really read between the lines all the time, which makes it kind of fun for a rewatch. But that's a wonderful Mad Men related question. And no, I do think Don Draper knows for a fact that he committed a bad, horrible, fraudulent act in that moment, but he still can't help but treat Michael Ginsburg like shit. Okay, what about this second question on your document?
Oh, yes. Where would you want to live if you had to leave LA? I actually liked your answers. If you want to
Really?
go first, and I'll piggyback.
Oh my God. Whoa. Okay. If I this is crazy because Megan and I had about 2 years where we had to think about this in actuality because Los Angeles is a very expensive city. Pasadena is very expensive. There was a time where work was dry as a bone because as a freelance casting director, you can't rely on it at all. So we were really like, how are we going to buy a house? How are we going to live? Like, this is crazy. So we had an era where we were possibly going to try to buy a house in Oregon because the
Uh-huh.
house prices are like a third or half as expensive over there.
Yeah.
But that ended up not working out. I think work picked up, and then also the thought of leaving Los Angeles filled me with dread, and I like hated it. But if I was rich, if say I got rich, and say all of a sudden some dream job started calling me, and they go, "Hey, we've got a dream job. You're going to be rich as hell, and you have to move to the Big Apple. You're 40, so think about that."
You have no choice.
But yes, I would take a New York City era if for some reason I could actually make it work, just because that's sort of like the worst move if you're having trouble supporting yourself. For me
Right.
personally, financially, like, why would you go to a city that's like,
The only place more expensive.
yeah, the only place more expensive? But if I could justify it, I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind a little bit of a, what's that, bite of the Big Apple. And then the other options are like still LA, where I get that taste of beautiful LA. I can go like in an hour. But Megan and I have sort of been scouting places outside of like LA a little bit, like
Mhm.
Claremont or something, because we still
Mhm.
love California, even if we
Mhm.
can't be in LA, or like Santa Barbara or
Mhm.
Cambria. Like some of those
Uh-huh.
like coastal towns seem kind of
Right.
cool.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I feel like New York, and maybe I'm being limiting, but I feel like that's the only other place that's like a no-brainer that I would live there.
Hmm.
Even though I don't want to live there, I prefer LA. But yeah, also if I was rich and I could have a second home, I would have one there because I like my sister lives there, so I can go whenever I want, which I love. I like being able to be like, I'll go freaking next week. I don't care. I love it. Um, but yeah, I would also maybe throw Europe in the mix, like either say Paris or maybe something more country-like, uh maybe like Florence, like the countryside in Italy or something, like do a full Under the Tuscan Sun. But I might go insane, I don't know.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's so silly of my mindset to where I can't even imagine like going to like I was like, oh, I would like to live in London. I was like, I don't know. It took me so long to culturally adjust to the United States that I couldn't
Right.
imagine being like an outsider again in a culture that I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah.
And also it just seems almost like a too fanciful for me. But
Mm,
but I obviously, yeah. If Paris was on the table, like holy shit,
yeah.
Paris in the 20s. They'd be
Exactly.
writing Midnight in Paris about us. 30 years later or something.
Yeah. I mean, London is so fun.
I know. I kind of, yeah. I like London. I only went once. And I was kind of surprised. I was like, this is probably not true or whatever, but it was so orderly. Like I got off the
Mm,
train at Paddington Station or whatever, kind of just like Paddington. I had that, please take care of this bear and a marmalade sandwich in my hat. And I got up and everyone, it was very odd because I'm from unruly America. Everyone was walking in a straight line like this, and everyone was like perfect. And it was almost
yeah.
like no nonsense, and there were cameras everywhere, and like I just felt like people were on their best behavior, and it was
Yeah.
kind of jarring.
They're
And
uptight as hell.
yeah, and it was a little for me who was 23 or 24 when I did this. I was a little shocked, and I don't think I spent long enough, obviously not long enough, to like even acclimate culturally. But I am such a me. I love the idea of London and Britain and going having a Bill Bryson period of my life. Spending a lot of time in England. But I don't know if that's ever going to be in the cards for me, unless this is a
Right.
fantasy scenario.
You never know.
Oh, could you imagine? I know people that are moving to London. You and I know people that are
Yeah,
moving to London.
it's true. We'll
Um,
see how it goes for them and then reassess.
could you imagine? Yeah, oh yeah, that'd be great. Just be like, hey, how was it? Could you? What if you and I in 5 years were like Turtle Times based in New York City, and we're like having the time of our life? But Money, like I always say, money is the real cheat code in life. If you
Hmm.
have a lot of money, you can do anything in the world. If you don't have money, what the hell are you going to do? What am I talking about? I'm going to have to leave LA if I don't make more money. So, uh, anyway. Okay. Are there any conspiracy theories, Bravo or otherwise, that you genuinely believe in?
Hmm.
I'll start with mine. This isn't really a conspiracy theory, and I couldn't think of any like deep conspiracy theories that like we haven't all uncovered or something.
Hmm.
But I wanted to say you sent me this thing from Lisa Vanderpump. It's kind of topical, where she goes, "The best show with a character named Lisa in it in Bravo history" or something. It was like. It was like, I've never seen anything like it. And I already talked to you about these stats and metrics that
Right.
we're using now to justify. I think I've heard every single Bravo launch that has come out in the last 3 years has been the number one biggest launch in history. And so I'm just officially saying now that absolutely no stats matter when it comes to Peacock. What Bravo puts out, those Bravo ratings, those TV ratings that Andy
Right.
said don't mean fucking shit at all anymore. I'm like, we don't know. The
Right.
metrics that they are using now are completely internal, and I don't believe any number one of the day, best launch post
Cross network,
cross network
cross
boost.
platforms.
Like, it's just like you can, any of those words, if you parse it enough, you find the caveat that makes the claim true. But I don't believe anything except Bravo having Q scores and whatever 50 data points they use to justify a show's existence, and we don't know any of them, I don't think.
Right. Yeah. Um, yeah, they use it to their advantage. I feel like once Netflix started reporting by the minute and
Yeah.
all of that shit, it was all over,
Yeah.
Once we were off the Nielsen track, I was like, come on.
God, you think about Nielsen when it was like, "Are you watching The Simpsons right now?" And you'd be like, "Yes, but I got to get back to it. Homer's about to go to Moe's Tavern," and they're like, "Okay, well, we're gonna count you." It's like that was so probably, realistic of what was
Right.
really going on in households. But now that language they use, I'm like, what the fuck? And
Yeah.
then no offense, or not, sorry, not to get pissed, but then Andy was all celebratory about Beverly Hills having the biggest Bravo
Right.
launch of the year, and it's like, which one is true? The Lisa Vanderpump weird Photoshop version of this quote, or you know what I mean, or the
Yeah.
Beverly Hills version?
Yeah, you can come up with a celebration however you want,
You really can. You really
You
can.
just phrase it right. I don't have a specific conspiracy. I am conspiracy curious. I allow myself to go down moderate rabbit holes where I will entertain them, but I'm not like pilled on anything in any major way. But like after I saw JFK the movie, which is like all of the conspiracy theories, I think Ari Aster called it a rat king of conspiracy theories. It's like an amalgamation of every single one. So it's not even coherent. But for like a month after that, I was like, this is bullshit. Like he's a patsy for sure.
Yeah.
So I think it's fun, but I don't take most of them seriously. But I sometimes, I'll get something on TikTok and I'll be like, that's a fun thought.
Yeah,
and
of
it pretty much
course.
ends there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't really like of the big. Like, I even looked up like what are the biggest conspiracy theories, and it's like all 8 of them. I'm like not interested in at all. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
the moon landing or whatever. Like,
Oh, right.
like I'm not really a big conspiracy person. I think I've said that a lot. I just
Right.
I'm not in any way. But I was trying to even think of fun ones that are like Bravo related, but I couldn't really think of anything. So
Right.
sorry.
I think it's like a dangerous territory sometimes. Like when Craig got into the tinfoil hat, I think a lot of people were like, I have my eye on you because I don't know where this leads in your life. But yeah, I feel like we're in a conspiracy era. And so it's kind of like there's a lot of darkness around conspiracy, so it's less fun. But like stuff like Bigfoot or aliens or like JFK or stuff like that, I think is fun. But then there's obviously like nasty bad ones
Oh my
that are
God.
touchy.
Of course. Oh my God. When I was Googling conspiracy theories, I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is this shit? I will say, oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, no, go ahead.
No, Kim Kardashian is on the moon landing shit now. I'm like, girl, we can't be doing this.
Yeah,
It's disrespectful to NASA.
I'm worried. I worry about stuff like no offense to people who are like, I'm a flat earther. I'm like, I don't.
Mhm.
If you believe the Earth is flat, then there's no hope for anyone. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
there's a percentage of people that believe in flat Earth, so it's hard. I would say this that it's always good to sort of cross reference things. I found this to be one of the most valuable things in my life. When the Netflix show How to Make a Murderer was coming out,
Yeah.
Megan was like. She had true crime fever, and she was
Yeah.
like, "Gotta watch this." And I go, "Oh my god, this Steve Avery guy, he's great." I go, what did he do? He murdered someone first, and then he came home. Or no, he was wrongly convicted. Then he came home, and then they were like, but then he got charged with murder again. And they're really trying to get this guy. They hate this Steve Avery guy because he keeps eating chips from the grocery store. So they really wanted to burn him. And I was like, this is open and shut, Your Honor. Stephen Avery, get him out. And then I spent 5 minutes on the internet. And I saw all of the rebuttals to every single thing that hotshot lawyer was saying in
Mhm.
How to Make a Murderer, the season 3 or season 2.
Yeah.
It was the most damning, conclusive, insane shit I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I'll never think about true crime documentaries or anything in my life the same way, because you have to just cross-reference
Mhm.
with other sources and really use your rational brain to justify and make sure that you have a good counter to every single thing. That Karen Reed one was a good example of this. I don't know if you watched that one, where it's like,
Yeah.
or the Casey Anthony, like they're presenting one side of the case. And I think people sometimes forget that they allow just enough contrary evidence to make you be like, oh, wait, I am doing some decisive thinking here. I'm figuring things out. But
Mhm.
really, they're mostly trying to tell one side of the story. So that's
Right.
kind of my rebuttal to conspiracy theories in a way.
Yeah. I did celebrate Karen Reed's freedom, however.
Good. Yeah, and I certainly don't think that she just ran the hell over that guy in the
But they didn't
snow.
have a case. You can't just convict someone because you think someone did something. There's called reasonable doubt.
Mm. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I won't. I don't want to get into it. I thought it was, of the options of did those cops beat him the hell up and
Yeah.
leave him outside of their door, or did she run him over with her car? I was, no offense, and I know we got some Karen Reed heads, but I'm an Occam's. We always talk about it. I'm an
Sure.
Occam's razor guy, and I'm not a huge. Yeah, the easiest explanation is usually
Right.
the likeliest, but whatever. We don't have to talk about Karen Reed. All right, this
Yeah.
next one is for you, Major, unless you want to say something else.
I feel like I had a thought and
Oh,
now
I'm
I
so
don't
sorry.
remember,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
but maybe it'll come to me. But it's like the staircase. Like I don't take the owl theory seriously, but it was fun to think about for a minute.
Yeah, it was fun, and I liked in the staircase when it was like, he was like, wait, they were like, wait, you were convicted for pushing someone down the stairs earlier in your life, and it was like, what the hell? Like,
And he was like, no, but like it was different.
yeah,
It was in Germany.
Yeah, oh, of course. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like true crime, like I watched the Casey Anthony one. I think I've already talked about it. Was like despicable on
Mm.
Peacock. Like the one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life in terms of trying to exonerate Casey Anthony.
Oh, wow.
Like
Yeah.
evil territory. But anyway, those aren't even conspiracy. I guess true crimes are kind of our own new conspiracy theories, because they're us deciding what the truth is,
Right.
in a way, for these
Right.
mysterious crimes. All right.
Right.
Okay. This one is for you. Amy, what the hell was your favorite family trip? You always do such cool destinations.
Yeah, the past few years, my parents have been taking me and my sister fun places. I feel like our maybe they asked us because I brought it up recently that they called it like what was it called? It was like the Viking treasures of the Roman Empire or something like that. And it was like Turkey, Greece, Italy, all the cool Roman ruins. And that was really neat. And it was the big ass ship. And it had like a nightclub in it. So it was really fun. Like after hours, me and Jenny would go to the club, and they had live music, and we had a great cast of characters that were like the bar rats on the ship. And so it was just kind of like there were some iconic characters that we met that like lived in Charleston, and they were drunk all the time on the boat, and then you would see them on the tour the next day and you'd be like, holy shit, like how are they even on this fucking tour right now?
That's so cool.
So that was great. I also wanted to shout out, I wasn't with my family, I was with friends, but I'm going to say it wrong because I don't have a good French accent, but Arles, it's Arles. You're supposed to say like Arles.
Okay.
um, but it also had Roman ruins, and it was very charming. I went there when I was in the south of France. We drove like, I don't know, an hour from where we were in La Ciotat, which is where the first train movie was ever shown.
Really?
Where people jumped out of into the aisles.
Oh my God. We talk about this a lot, but what must it have been like to be in that theater or in that train when they were watching that first train movie? So, and I've asked you this already, I know, but Gower Gulch or whatever, I thought that was that the first time in America they got a little hint of that train coming through, right? Or was Gower
What
Gulch?
is the history of Gower Gulch?
I thought that, I don't know, one time.
I think they got rid of that little cart though.
Oh, okay.
The little Western cart. But yeah, that theater in France is still there. I didn't go inside, but I think I took a photo out front of it, and it has a mural of a train on it.
God.
But yeah, you can't go wrong down there. So that's my answer.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. I cannot believe that theater where the first train came at the audience. I would have been so scared if I had never seen anything like that before. Okay, I think this is a fun one, and I like your answers much more than mine. Okay, top 10 most iconic Bravo celebrities or Bravo celebrities.
Yes.
Why don't you go through some of your iconic ones?
Okay. I did like a freak version because I was just like, it's too hard for me. I'm bad at ranking, which will make some of these questions hard for me because I get very overwhelmed trying to get things to an even 10 or whatever. So I went outside of the box and did sort of like off kilter, like freak show edition. So I did Zoila and Chaz Dean from Flipping Out, Tabitha of Tabitha Salon Takeover, Taylor, the bitch assistant from Rachel Zoe, Rosie, the Wakili cousin or whatever from New Jersey.
Yeah. Oh my God. I have Rosie on my list, and I didn't even see that you had Rosie. I'll never forget Rosie screaming, going, "I'm getting so steamed back here." When I think, was it Teresa who was making fun of her or something, or talking about their parents or whatever. Right. You could just hear Rosie, and then you would see her imprint of her kind of pushing towards the stage, and then the curtain would start to waft, and then she's like, "I'm getting so pissed." Yeah. I love that.
I just saw a clip. I might have sent it to you, where it was her and Juicy Joe having a conversation about how they hate when Italians call red sauce gravy. And they're like, gravy's fucking brown. Like, we don't call it fucking gravy, it's sauce.
I loved that. Yeah, they must have been so pissed at Sopranos because they call it gravy a lot.
Okay, I added Lynn Curtin from the OC because I just think there's no one like her. She's kind of an alien, and I think of her fondly. I want to know what she's up to. Also, Carlton the Witch from Beverly Hills really made a mark for me. Dwight from Atlanta, very important to me. Kind of a hole in my heart that he's not on our screens any longer. Also, Mama Elsa, iconic, rest in peace. And Galena from fucking McBee.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so happy for Galena that she made it to this sort of vaulted ranks right here. That's so good. Yeah, I did more just boring and basic ones here. And I don't even want to say some of them. I think that mine. One time I saw BJ Novak was talking about how all of his favorite, this is on TikTok, I don't follow BJ Novak, but he was like, all of his favorite characters in fiction or in pop culture are the main characters of everything. And I'm the exact same way. Like, he was listing, he's like, Homer Simpson is his favorite character on Simpsons. Tony Soprano is his favorite character on The Sopranos. And I'm the exact same way. So for me, all of the most iconic Bravo celebrities are the people that have withstood the test of time and are the center pick your symbol holders, and I like all of them the most because they sort of have justified themselves. So like this is Lisa Vanderpump, this is Bethany Frankel, this is Vicky, Lisa Barlow on Salt Lake City. Like, I am the person who is watching those people, understanding why they keep getting their contract renewed over and over again. And then I think, Candy, no one has to make the case for Candy, but when I did go to the Bravos, and you watched them too,
Right.
and they show Candy's montage,
Yeah.
I was just like, holy shit. Like, you put 10 years of anybody's life, like, obviously there's going to be so many like moments, but Candy's highlight reel was one of the most insane things I've ever seen. And in the moment, to be watching it with her, to see the sort
Yeah.
of testament to her power on that show was amazing. So I had to put her on my most iconic list.
I have said this before. I have to assume that she has more spinoffs than anyone ever has.
Yeah.
She
No, I
has
think
like
so.
5 or more.
And that's it for me too. Like that, and the ability to sort of branch off. Like, I would put Kim Zolciak in that category. Like, I thought
Yeah.
that she was the funniest person I've ever seen in my life, and then I just started rewatching her show,
Yeah.
Don't Be Tardy or whatever, and I was like, well, no wonder she got a show for 8 seasons. It's the
Yeah.
funniest shit I've ever seen, and I can watch her do absolutely anything.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
to the grocery
She's
store and
one in a mill.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So that's the answer to that question. Amy, what was next on your list of questions?
Let's see. We have one, a shout out from a federal employee, Little Turtle Cutie, telling us that we are helping with their mental health right now. Shout out. I can't imagine what the hell kind of shit is going on wherever you are. It's terrible. So I hope that you can get away with listening to us while you're dealing with that. But they asked us, what are our top 5 VPR moments of all time? Again, I'm bad at this. I just went with my gut really quick and said, I don't even know if I have 5, but I have almost 5, I think. The reveal that there is a dying hospice patient in the room when Jax and Faith hook up is one of my favorite. I guess it's not technically a moment because we don't see it, but just that factoid is like, I think, top tier on if you were trying to tell someone why they should watch Vanderpump Rules and how depraved it is. That's like top of the heap for me. It's like the funniest thing you could never imagine a comedy writer could never make up. It's just unbelievable. So that's important to me. This also has to do with Jax, him breaking up with Laura Lee just after her meeting. Her NA meeting is like, again, the depravity. It really just has a flavor to it that I appreciate. Randomly, Sandoval filming a scene for Peter's sci-fi movie on that rooftop is very important to me. Of just really sets a scene for the loserdom of, or the chasing of dreams that we're dealing with. It's very talk about I think somewhere on here where you bring up the disaster artist, like that feels very like disaster artist. And then the rotten hell thing, that whole scene, all of it is, the whole scenario is important to me. And then I just brought this up because I got the clip on TikTok, which is like reminding me that we still have stuff to look forward to. It was Sandoval reading the description for Schwartz and Sandy's that he wrote, where it's like, escape to the dream of your future fantasy. And then Greg is like, that's a word salad. And I was like, holy shit, I forgot about that. All the comments were like, ChatGPT could never, / like he had to do it without, which now that's totally, he would just have used ChatGPT, I'm sure.
You're right. If I remember correctly, they got on mushrooms. They were on mushrooms as they were like drafting up those things. Yeah, that's a great moment. And I'm so excited to see that. Yeah, I wanted to do also like underrated ones, because obviously you and I love and cherish every single huge moment that everyone would bring up about the sort of the foundation of Vanderpump Rules. Since our sort of rewatch on Patreon, one scene that stuck out to me that I think we talked about a lot at the time was that sort of existential crisis that Jax was having on the beach when he was talking to Peter.
Right.
It was this random beach day or whatever. And if I remember correctly, Jax just sort of has this reckoning with himself and the turmoil he causes his friend group, and he's kind of like, what is wrong with me? Why do I do the things that I do? And Peter is giving him absolutely nothing. It's just a monologue, almost a Shakespearean level monologue for Jackson. At one point he's like, should I just take myself out to the sea right now? And it was out of nowhere, and it wasn't a moment that I remembered, and it was just, I think I think I and you, we have to come to terms with Jax's impact on Vanderpump Rules, because I was
Yeah.
just trying to write my moments, and I was like, the early seasons were so propelled by Jax and his
Oh yeah.
misbehavior and his whatever it was that he was bringing to the group. Let me see what else I have here. Jax, an early funny moment for me when
Yeah.
when I was first watching it with Megan, I was like cherishing it. Was Jax taking it upon himself to take care of Schwartz's triplet brothers. The idea that Schwartz's triplet brothers cannot take care of themselves is already just a funny. I'm not saying anything about where they live or whatever. I'm just
Right.
saying that the idea that they were like little boys, like
Yes.
12-year-olds, like, and that Jax, who is irresponsible, the most irresponsible people in the world, somehow found like this responsibility to hold over them and really had to take care of them. And then his every interaction he has with them is like, those boys, they're screwing things up. They don't have
Yeah.
ties. And it's just, I don't
Total
know what
sitcom.
I don't know what it is about that dynamic, but it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Obviously, I think the most conventional I have here is Battered Wife.
Uh-huh.
I think that is probably the scene that I would show someone, hopefully with no context, to just be like, can you imagine something like this happening on a show? Do you know what goes into this that made all of these decisions come forth? And the idea that the perfect reveal at that time that Sandoval kicks open the door in the heat of that passion has Schwartz doing that on the toilet is just so, it's the perfect embodiment to me of Vanderpump Rules. And then if I remember this correctly, I remember it took a lot of work for Stassi to set up the perfect scenario to entrap Kristen into telling the truth about her
Right.
and Jax. I remember it was the first time I was like, oh, this is what makes Stassi far and away the best cast member on Vanderpump Rules. Because of her way to sort of be a producer in the moment and the way she was able to pry that answer from Jax to confront Kristen was just a wonderful thing. Like, she's perfect for reality. Masterclass in being able to pull something like that off.
Right.
So that was some fun moments, right?
Yeah, I did pull up the Schwartz and Sandy's quote here. It's Schwartz and Sandy's is a funkadelic dive lounge where you check your worries at the door and escape reality. We hope to bridge the familiarity with your best night out with the deja vu of your future fantasy.
That is so crazy. Oh my God.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it really means nothing. I mean,
no, it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, we've talked about it so much of how it of what the end result was and how far it seemed, from what they dreamed.
Unfortunately, I did drink too much soda and I do have to piss.
Holy shit! Yeah.
Will you allow me?
Oh my God! Of course. Oh yeah, let's stop and take a certified turtle piss break. Of course, let's do it now.
Thank you.
And we're back with the official Turtle Time Q&A. Next question, what are your top 3 films about Hollywood / the movies? I'll go first with what I thought. I wasn't sure if it meant movies about Hollywood or movies that consist of discussing Hollywood or film, so I have both. My favorite films about Hollywood, like sort of, are about the process of making movies, are Los Angeles Plays Itself. I think I've talked about that movie. I recommend it to anyone who will listen. It's my favorite movie of all time, even though it's not a movie. I guess favorite documentary, you'd have to say. It's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And if you like movies, if you care about the history of them, if you like Los Angeles or you're curious about Los Angeles, the narrator or the essayist, whoever wrote it and compiled the clips and everything, it's like the best piece of testament to the power of film and also what it means about a city. And I love it. And I've seen it like maybe 7 or 8 times. You've seen it, right?
Yeah, but probably only once. I'm due for a revisit.
I love the compilation of films. I love what he has to say about what these films actually mean. He discusses the architecture of Los Angeles and how it's used as sort of like why this architecture is emblematic of a villain or why like a villain would live in this type of house. Like just shit that you've never thought about in your life, but it also has sort of like the clips from every single film that he wants to add in there. And so I've just never seen anything like it in my life. And so it's like, it's perfect for anybody who loves film. De Palma by Noah Baumbach is an amazing documentary. I think I've told you about it, maybe referenced it 4 or 5 times. It doesn't even matter if you don't like De Palma's movies or don't give a shit about them. His career is a singular career. He was the in the same group as George Lucas, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, but he was the one that was like the filmmaker's filmmaker, where they were all
Right.
watching him and seeing what he was doing. And what Noah Baumbach does is just put a camera on him, go through his filmography, and ask him to give the top 10 most exciting anecdotes of what he remembers about these films. And it's a good sort of it's about sort of the history of Hollywood in a way, because it represents about 40 years of it. But also just the little facts he gives about each movie he's so honest about everything. He talks about Sean Penn being a fucking asshole to Michael J. Fox. He talks about writing the ending of Mission Impossible because Tom Cruise didn't know who to defer to. This was his big action film. And so Brian De Palma was the one who made him change the ending of Mission Impossible. Just like every anecdote is so fun for me, and I wish Noah Baumbach was doing this with every single director. I wish this was a series, like a Criterion series, where he did the exact same thing with a bunch of people, but so far it's just De Palma. Hi, Norman.
Yeah, Norman's making a guest appearance. Well, I've never seen that. Where does one watch that?
Kanopy. I think these are all big Kanopy hits.
Okay.
Kanopy, for people who don't know, you got to get a library card, and you just put in your library card and your password, and you get access to Kanopy, and they give you 30 credits a month. It's absolutely free, and they have, I'd say, 50% of the Criterion collection on there. And they also have everyone wants to put their films on Kanopy because everybody loves the library, so it's so well curated. And then those two are definitely on Kanopy. And then, so is this last one, A Personal Journey with Martin Scorsese Through American Movies. Have you seen this one on Kanopy?
I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and guess that he talks about the red shoes.
Oh my God. Oh, don't get him started on the red shoes. Oh,
literally, don't get him started.
I think he talks about it in the first 20 minutes. This is better than Mr. Scorsese, because I loved Mr. Scorsese. I don't even need to compare him. Anything with Scorsese is good, but this is Martin Scorsese, very similar to De Palma. I think this is for the BFI. Mm-hmm. He is just telling us his journey, his personal journey through cinema. It also includes a compilation of all of his favorite little, clips from all of his favorite films. And he has the most beautiful things to say for how these films impacted him. And hearing Martin Scorsese talk about films is one of the best things you could ever hear in your life, because he is the ultimate cinephile and scholar. So I recommend that. But tell me about your 3 that you chose here.
Mine were, I think I see your picks that were not the doc style ones, and we both agree Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, unimpeachable, classic.
So, yeah. And I'm trying to think, like, it's about Hollywood. That's where I was like, there's this difference here of like what constitutes a movie about Hollywood. But yeah, it's obviously about Hollywood, and I think it's just like the most entertaining.
Right. Yeah, it has backlot life, stunt double. You see the behind the scenes on Sharon making that shit movie, The Wrecking Crew. Mm-hmm. No, I am obsessed with that movie. The second I saw it, I was like, holy shit, it's perfect. I did Adaptation, The Screenwriter's Plight. It's so good. I think I saw it last year again at the Egyptian, and it's just like so funny and insane, especially if you've read The Orchid Thief, and like just the book compared to the movie and like the meta, like Charlie Kaufman's insane. His mind.
Yeah, if nobody's ever seen Adaptation, that was one of the first movies whenever Adaptation came out where I was like, oh my God, I love movies, and what the
Shit
hell
can be wild.
I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, Nick Cage is like the best acting he's ever done in his life. He plays 2 twin twin brothers. He's completely different. Like I've never seen. It's like I always talk about Jack Nicholson and about Schmidt, where the person loses themselves. They're not a movie star performance. They're a character in this film. Nicolas Cage is one of the best performances I've ever seen. Especially they can handle both roles, and
Right.
it's about Charlie Kaufman writing himself into the adaptation of a Susan Orlean nonfiction book about orchids, and they actually filmed they filmed the version of his screenplay that he wrote into it. It's amazing. It's one of the funniest things in the world. It's so good. And Spike Jones, is the
Yes.
director. So everybody has to
Yes.
watch that movie. You have to
It's
watch it.
perfect. I also threw in some Coens, Hail Caesar, and Barton Fink. I love their angle
Mhm.
on Hollywood. Again, the plight of the screenwriter for Barton Fink. Those are great. Hail Caesar, I need to revisit. I've probably seen it twice, but I remember really enjoying it. And then lastly, Ed Wood. It's one of my favorites. I think it's so beautiful.
Never seen it.
Oh, it's so good. I think you would really like it. It's like peak good Tim Burton.
Mhm.
Like it's like a normal movie. It's
Right.
not like
Yeah.
all of his like goth shit artifice, whatever he's doing now. Johnny Depp at his prime when he was good at the time. Sarah Jessica Parker is in it. It's just like it's a great portrait of LA. It's black and white. It's about this like subculture. It's like the original Disaster Artist. Like
Cool.
it's awesome. Highly recommend.
I am definitely that's going to jump to the top of my list because I already wanted to watch it, and so hearing that makes me like it'll be like one of the next few movies that I watch for sure. I wanted to add so Disaster Artist, you mentioned it a bunch. This one time Megan's cousin came into town and we were partying our asses off showing her Los Angeles, and then we just had a movie night because we were all tired as hell. And I suggested, or Megan and I both had maybe just done the double feature or something, so we suggested this to her cousin, and we watched The Room and then The Disaster Artist, which is maybe the most fun double feature in history that I've ever been a part of, because you watch The Room and you're laughing and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Every question you have, every weird thing that happens in it, the Disaster Artist right after answers every single question. It's like it's a love letter to this horrible film, and also the best explanation for what happened in it. And I love James Franco's performance. I love Dave Franco's performance, and it's just I don't know why. I guess it's about the probably 90% of Hollywood journeys that don't end up like anything that we're ever talking about, like you just said with Ed Wood or whatever. It's like if The Room there hadn't been a success, it would just be another shitty movie in the big pile of shitty movies that less talented people have come here and made and then left, and then we never hear about them again. It's a different reality for a lot of people than sort of the glamorized version of Los Angeles and what can happen.
Did you read The Disaster Artist when it came out?
I never did. I wanted to, and then when the movie came out, I was just like, I'm just gonna watch this. But how is the book?
Yeah. It's good. I think I listened to it, and Greg Sestero reads it himself.
Okay.
I was a big Room head. I've seen it so many times. We used to go, it was famously in LA at the Sunset 5 at midnight once, I think it was once a month on a midnight and on Saturday night. I don't think it was every week. I think it was once a month. But I went to that a million times. I think me and Jimmy went one time when he was living in Boston, because after we interned at Conan, he had to go back to school. So he moved to Boston for his like last semester or whatever. And I went and lived with my sister in New York. So we had like an East Coast era. And I remember, was Tommy Wiseau there? I think he like might have been at a screening in Boston. But anyways, he was always around. He's like a fucking freak, obviously. He's like not even nice. He's like weird and like,
of course,
just like says weird shit.
Oh yeah. No, he seems like a total weird guy, and that he wouldn't be nice at all. So Disaster Artist is just so fun, and also the cast that he assembled to make this movie is very fun. Like Nathan Fielder's in it, and a bunch of other people, like hundreds of different actors that everyone would love are in there, as anybody who I guess has loved The Room, at some point in their lives. And then I want to say a sort of a different look of Hollywood is Maps to the Stars. I don't know if you've ever seen this film.
Is that remind me?
Yeah, it's so it's Cronenberg,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's by this guy named Bruce Wagner, who I don't know too much about, but his whole thing, he's written like 50 novels, and they're all about how evil and horrible Hollywood is, and sort of like the kind of what I was talking about of people who are like actors that have horrible shit going on in their lives, what fame does to a person, how the tragic stories of Hollywood. And Maps to the Stars is like a fairy tale. That takes place in Hollywood, but it's like everyone is horrible in it, and there's a lot of like I don't even want to say there's a lot of triggering.
2014.
Yeah, there's a lot of triggering things in it. It's kind of on the scale of good and evil. It's more of like a kind of an evil film in a way. Julianne Moore plays a despicable person. There's this seeking of fame from people who will never get it. All the kind of stuff that's like it's like the most just kind of a tragic, nightmarish fairy tale. And I remember my friend Pete and I went and saw it at the Los Feliz 3, and the mood and the reaction after it was something I'll never forget. There was just this complete quiet and no murmuring where people just for maybe like one full minute were just like collecting themselves at what we had all just watched, and it was great. And you never really it's like the opposite of La La Land in a way.
Right. I'm interested.
Yeah, check it out. And then my last, which I've talked about 100 times, is I love Mank so much. Every time I think about Mank, it fills me with joy. And it's a movie that I've only seen twice, and so it has that I haven't seen it enough to really truly know everything about it, which is my favorite way to be on the precipice of a movie where it's not worn out yet. So I want to keep watching it all the time because I have the urge to, but I also want to save it and just be a Mank head and not spoil it like I've done with every Wes Anderson movie or any other movie I've seen 100 times.
That's how I am with the Nancy Meyers movies, where I only deploy them under desperate circumstances where I'm like, nothing else will do, but I can't let them lose their punch.
Yeah. I want the punch. And I run things into the ground. That is my way. I love if a movie strikes joy within me, I watch it and watch it over again to the point where I never have to see it again. That's how Adaptation was for me. When we're talking about Adaptation, I'm like, oh yeah, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in 10 years because I watched it 50 times.
Right. When we did Something's Gotta Give for the Patreon, I was like, all right, you have to watch it for this, but that means you don't get to watch it now. I think I need to wait like at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it too much in the past like couple years where I feel like I went against my rule.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was for the Villa Rosa Film Society, but I totally know what you mean. I think those are great. I hope that people like those. I love Hail Caesar too, like you said. And everyone has to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You have to. It's everybody. It just strikes a chord with everybody who watches it. My dad doesn't even like Quentin Tarantino, but he's watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood like 8 times. Like it's just like it's perfect to him. Okay, this next question, I don't know if you have an answer to this. Who from the Bravo universe would you cast in a remake of Bug? People are talking about Bug again. You and I.
Bug fever.
Bug fever is taking over. We were talking about this last night. Tracy Letts and Carrie Coon are letting Bug be released again like a swarm onto either Broadway or I don't know where but it's going to go back on stage. It's going to be performed again as a play. So there's the New York Times articles about it, and I couldn't believe that you and I talked about Bug maybe a year ago, and then all of a sudden it's one of the hottest properties in the world.
Oh my God, they're performing tonight.
No way.
It's like happening right now.
Who are the new Bugs?
The Bugheads.
who are the
It's Carrie Coon and someone named Namir Smallwood. I don't know him.
Okay, me either.
But I'm like, oh my God. There's like, December, January. Oh my God.
On Broadway.
Oh, it looks like it ends in February. I don't know if I'm going to be out there.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I said Craig and Paige, just because you hinted about, I remember when Craig was like, don't take that shot; it makes you walk backwards or whatever. There was some stuff where Craig was getting, he's
Yeah, yeah.
conspiracy theory minded, and there's not a lot you can do when you start to suspect, everything. And so I was imagining a world in which, like, if they were locked in a big RV for a really long time, maybe,
Yeah.
and he even got to Paige. I felt like Paige was starting to say, like, I like some conspiracy theories too. The
Right.
panda one, there's no
Right.
pandas that exist. So that was kind of just a silly answer to that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
My answer off the top of my head is Kyle, no, sorry, Kim Richards and that weird man that she was dating in Hawaii.
Yes. Of course, and
That's
I do not.
actually too real. It's like not even funny. Like they were bug.
But I do, yeah. They were kind of having their own bug-esque, kind of their own trip when they were not showing up to events. Yeah. They would have definitely, if people hadn't intervened or life hadn't intervened between them, that could have been sort of a nightmare between them. For those of you who don't know, Bug is a film about Michael Shannon and Diane Lane, or I always get it wrong.
No, it's Ashley Judd.
Ashley Judd. Who he starts out like with just Craig level conspiracy theories where it's like, hey, 5G internet, I don't like it. I think it makes me have a nosebleed or whatever. And she's like, oh, that's okay. Yeah, I kind of get that too. Maybe I feel that. And then he goes a little worse than that kind of stuff. Maybe I'd say like he starts digging a rabbit hole or whatever. A rabbit hole that's deeper and deeper. And it's about being sort of gaslit by your partner and sort of descending into madness with someone in close quarters. It's kind of shocking.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Recommend.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is, what was your Bravo canon moment? I guess that just means what made you know that you were a Bravo stan and that this shit was on a totally different level. My gut, again, I'm just going with like my immediate first thought, because if I think about it too long,
Yeah.
I will devolve. So I just said Kyle and Kim in the limo. Even though I had been a fan for years before that, I had already watched OC, New York, probably New Jersey, like whatever, all of the ones that existed before Beverly Hills. But I remember that feeling like very groundbreaking.
Yeah, I love that. I love that moment. I had to do one from Vanderpump Rules because I wanted to honor my entry into Bravo, and I think once Megan, convinced me, like, let's start our Vanderpump Rules journey. You're watching it, you like it. Let's start from the very beginning. And I do think, I forget how early, if this is season 1 or not, Jax telling Stassi and Christina Kelly and Katie that Sheena had said in the van with the guys when they go on a trip, when she goes, when she made her joke about being gangbanged by all of them.
Right.
And Jax goes to Stassi and the girls who are not fans of Sheena, and he says, "You'll never believe what Sheena said." He goes, I don't even want to say this, but she said that she would rather be gangbanged by all of you than ride in the bus with you. And the reaction that the cast has of that statement and the willful skewering of what Sheena said was so shocking to me that I was like, I can't believe a person could do this. And it was Jax. It was Jax making Sheena be portrayed in the worst light, and then knowing that he was portraying her in the worst light was just shocking to me. I don't know why. And it was just so interesting and compelling that I was like, if this is on the table, I'm in good hands, because I think so much more shocking stuff that's just like organic and natural, and like you said, could never be scripted, is coming. And obviously we were rewarded multiple times over the run of shocking moments, just like that. But that was like an entry level version of where, I couldn't believe what Jax had done.
Yeah, that was amazing when we revisited.
Yeah.
Okay, next we're being asked for, as a visitor to LA, where should they eat and maybe a fun bar. You have some options here.
Yeah, let me just say this. My bar going and restaurant days have almost come to an end for now. But during that run of when I was having the time of my life, these are the heavy hitters. Casa Vega, I think everyone has to go. It's of the sort of themed Mexican restaurants. I think Casa Vega has now become the de facto one. I love going to Sherman Oaks. I was a huge El Compadre fan, and I still recommend El Compadre. The one in Echo Park was like
Mhm.
the first one I would go to all the time. Just anywhere you can get a flaming margarita, you have to go there.
Yeah.
And so I love that. So if you come to LA, you got to go to either Casa Vega, El Coyote, or El Compadre. You got to go there. And then I love Ye Rustic.
Yep.
The best dive bar in the world. It has no, it's not trying to fulfill anything other than being one of the grimiest bars you've ever seen in your life, but they secretly have the best chicken wings in Los Angeles. And it's
Mhm.
also just fun, and everyone goes there and everyone pays homage to Ye Rustic at different times of their life. It's just such an iconic staple of bar life in Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
I lived a block from it for 10 years. It was awesome. Probably for the best. I was cruelly taken away from being so near. I put in this person asking the question said they did Musso and Frank's already. I say continue the tour of the Red Booth restaurants and go to Smokehouse next.
Yeah, and I haven't been to Smokehouse, so I have
Can't
to
believe
go.
it.
Yeah, you got to go. Smokehouse is in, all these restaurants are being captured in the Valley now that they live over there. Like Smokehouse has been there, Casa Vega. So go there. Waltz is a new kind of fun bar if you want to be hip as hell.
Yeah.
If you're hip, whichever Turtle Time listener was hip or Villa Rosa VIP, if you're hip, go to like Zebulon. One time I went there and it was
That's
all
like to the limit.
that's like
I don't even
21-year-olds.
know.
No, I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I'm just recommending. And also, I feel free to reach out if you ever do have a trip and you want to know more like current stuff. Just reach out to Amy and I on
Yeah.
Instagram, and we'll
Message
tell you
us.
where to go. Yeah.
Yes. People want a quick primer on what we do for work. I feel like we've alluded to that so far, but I historically was in marketing, like digital marketing, in usually entertainment. I worked at a now defunct television network called Pivot, which was owned by Participant Media. That's the production company that made An Inconvenient Truth. They made Lincoln. They always have movies with a message, but no one wanted that, and they deleted it. Then I worked at Warner Brothers for 5 years, worked at TBS and TNT and True TV, and did social media there. And then I got laid off from there. And now I just do like freelance social gigs as they come, but trying to make the podcast work, but I still need to take jobs to survive.
Yes. Oh, and me very much so. Absolutely. Yeah, I am a freelance casting director. So I still actively cast things. So if you go to, if you care, RileyHamiltonCasting.com, you can see all the shit that I've worked on, and it's had periods where like during COVID and the strike and stuff where didn't work for full years, and I was like, what the hell am I doing? And I actually, for some reason, this year and this last year, I got on a new sort of like roster of contacts, and so I've had a good sort of run of being able to cast some projects, like a couple prank shows, and someone asked this, but they said, what's the most like high level credit or whatever you have. Last year I got to cast on the Oscars, the Conan O'Brien Oscars. So there was some like scripted segments in there, and so that's by far the best thing I've ever done. I mean, I couldn't even believe it. I'm still stunned that happened.
Killing it.
Yeah.
But join our Patreon so that we don't have to do it anymore. Thank you.
Yeah, please. I don't want to cast anymore.
Yeah, you're exactly like Bo Clark in so many ways.
I know. It's crazy.
Okay. This person says, now that we've officially entered the cursed era of VPR, they're talking about our Patreon, what's your favorite season? And Riley, while you answer this question, I'm going to plug my computer in. So continue to talk.
Okay, I will. All right. Okay. I was looking at this. It all. Yeah, it's funny to just talk to myself. Turtle Time listeners, I'm talking right to you. So I was thinking about this, and I judge all of Vanderpump Rules season 1 through 7 as just this perfect run. But if I was really choosing, I like looked at it, and I love season 5 of Vanderpump Rules. I think the most. I love when a show has sort of established itself, and you know everyone, and you know their deep personalities, and you've grown with them, and they're powerful, and if you don't want to get too far on that end, you don't like, because detrimental things happen. But season 5 felt like a really great place where Vanderpump Rules and their cast, it's a great show, everybody knows it, they're popular, they
Right.
are celebrities in their own way, but it's not to the it's not going badly yet. But so many, as I was looking at season 5, so many of my favorite things happen in it. It's the entire lead up to Schwartz and Katie's wedding, and it has the amazing finale, which is them getting married, which I love the episodes leading up to it. But also you're sort of watching their tragic, awful relationship really on display. And it's almost to the point where everyone in their lives is saying, you guys got to nip this thing in the bud. It's bad. It was like Bug. It was like getting like Bug for a second. Jax was like, you never can trust Jax, but he was like, how the fuck are they getting married? And Sandoval was
Right.
weeping, crying, like, my friend, I love you. You fight too much.
Yeah.
You guys treat each other like shit. And there's cheating. I'm not blaming Katie. There's cheating. There's infidelity. So much stuff swept under the rug. There's the iconic dual bachelorette trips. That's where Battered Wife comes from. And also, this is a sort of a sadder thing to talk about, but also the Pride episode that year is the Pulse nightclub shooting. And I remember when you and I rewatched that. That is Emmy award winning. Like, it should have won an Emmy. They're dealing with a tragedy at that moment that actually affected them all directly. And you see everyone's reaction, real-time reaction to with fear, with reckoning with the tragedy, with going. And then there's this beautiful triumphant moment where Ariana and Sandoval and Lisa Vanderpump and Jax still show up and do their job. And Lisa gives this heartfelt speech, and like I don't think I've ever seen anything more beautiful, because it blows everything else out of the water when you're talking about a real life incident that happened.
Right.
And I was so proud of them. Like, I was so proud of everyone in that episode. So season 5 is mine.
Yeah. I think that's a good choice. I agree with everything you're saying. The only alternative I would offer is like, it's hard because I want to say the first 2 seasons are so the first of its kind, and it was so fresh and unfiltered and stuff, but I do think it got better with time. So it's like, is the first season, it's the best in a certain way because it's such a great first season, but I do think you're right that it developed like a fine wine.
Yeah, and like I think that the clear winner for everyone is probably always season 2, because it has the revelation of Jackson Kristen, and I love it. And of course, I'm not trying to discount it, but I loved growing with the cast to where I knew them so much better at the time, and I think that there are as many iconic moments. So like my real favorite era of Vanderpump Rules is actually probably like 4 through 7. Like, once it was really running, and Stassi was back. They made a lot of missteps with trying to add like oh my god, who's in season 3 that Jack starts to try to date Vale and stuff, where they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and Lisa was trying to pull back on the reins and stuff. But anyway, Okay.
I feel like I'm going to start to just skip ahead, but if you want to go back to one that I'm skipping, then do it. But I want to ask this random one because I want to hear your answer. If there was a Muppets Lord of the Rings movie, who do you think Miss Piggy and Kermit would be cast as?
Oh my god. I'm just thinking of this for the first time. I think that so I keep wanting to not give the basic answer, but I think the most clear answer would be Aragorn for Kermit. You can really imagine this. I mean, it's immediately evocative. Kermit is Aragorn, he's the secret king of Gondor, and then Miss Piggy would be Arwen, who is the Liv Tyler character. They have this
Mm.
love, and like it'd be beautiful and romantic. But then if you want to be crazy, go off the rails with me for a second. It would be kind of interesting if for some reason Kermit was Theoden, the king of Rohan, and Miss Piggy, because she's sort of, I don't know her very well. You know Miss Piggy more than me. But the Miss Piggy I know, she doesn't treat Kermit the best. She's kind of a little bit, can I say it, mean to Kermit. I think it'd be funny if she was Wormtongue, kind of whispering in Kermit's ears some bad stuff to be doing, kind of ruining his legacy. And then when Gandalf and Aragorn come to the King of Rohan for help, they would separate Miss Piggy and Kermit and be like, "Hey, Miss Piggy kind of treats you like shit. You need to get away," and then he could become the King of Rohan again. What were your answers for this?
I have no way of answering that question, so I will have to take your word for it. I would see it though. I'd see any Miss Piggy centric entertainment at any time.
Me too. Absolutely. So that was a wonderful question. I really like that. I was trying to think if there was anything else before we move forward. No, I like it. I like what you skipped.
Okay. Should we do Letterbox?
Yes. Let's
You're
do
ready.
it.
I'm gonna have to do mine on the fly. I didn't write mine in advance.
Okay. Yeah. No, you look, and I'll just speak for a little bit. Okay. So my top 4 on Letterboxd now, I don't know if anybody follows me. I think my name's Riley Hamilton on there. I put my top 4 are movies that I have came to late in life.
Okay.
So imagine a world in which I've seen Adaptation, There Will Be Blood, Life Aquatic, The Squid and the Whale, all these movies. Pretend I've seen Citizen Kane. And I'm putting movies that have brought me so much joy that I can't believe I didn't see them until I was 35 to 40, this range that I'm talking about. That's my new top 4. So I'm kind of inherently recognizing, hopefully, all the movies that everybody cherishes. But here are my fun sort of new ones. I love the film Manhunter. One of our Villa Rosa VIPs just talked about Manhunter because I have a Manhunter shirt. I never knew, I loved Silence of the Lambs, but I never knew the idea that Michael Mann would have had a good take on the Hannibal Lecter, franchise. And it's one of my favorite movies I've ever seen in my life for how it looks, the music, the villain, and I already know this story so well, so seeing this weird Michael Mann interpretation of it is so fun to me. I love the film Exorcist 3. I've talked about it so much. I hope maybe I've talked about it enough to where I don't need to justify it. I love the film Salem's Lot. It's not really a film, but it's the best adaptation I've ever seen of that book, Salem's Lot, which is one of my favorite books of all time, like top 10. And it's actually scary because it's from the 70s, where I just think that older movies are so much scarier now because people are actually like dead, and it's weirder, and they had to build all this shit, and the makeup is weird, and you're just like, I could imagine it was really scary back then versus modern movies where sometimes I don't think it's as scary because there's digital effects and shit. So Salem's Lot is so fun, and it's 3.5 hours. And I've said this a million times, but I watched it with my friends. I brought them over, and I go, turn off the lights, let's watch Salem's Lot. And we all were sort of scared, which is really funny and fun to imagine a bunch of people. And then lastly, The Apartment. I've talked about it so much, but I think I only watched that like 2 years ago. And I was just like, oh my God. This is like one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I haven't seen too many Jack Lemmon movies, and I was like, this is the best performance I've ever seen in my life. It looks beautiful. I mean, the black and white photography or whatever the hell is going on. I don't know shit about
Billy
cinematography.
Wilder's nuts.
Oh my God. It feels so modern. Like if people are, if there's any, we got a lot of film questions. So I think I'll just say this, if there's ever, it's daunting to sort of go into the past, and it is for me. And I'm like, am I going to watch Key Largo from 1940? Like, what the hell? Like, there's weird acting in it. They're too theatrical sometimes. Sometimes they look like shit. Sometimes they're too slow. I really feel like The Apartment could be the gateway to being like, wait, this feels so modern, and it's black and white, but it's so fun, so funny. The performances are amazing, and it's a plot like you've never seen before in your life. And I just recommend it to everyone. And then after you're like, wait, if they can make a movie that good in 1960, what the hell else am I missing? It's sort of been the bridge for me too to get over that hump.
Right. Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think if I even have four. I'll start by just saying, um, I think I decided officially when I rewatched it, I think last year, I'm adding Manchester by the Sea to my top four.
Hell yeah.
I love that movie. I think it's like perfect. It accomplishes uh a triumph on every level.
Oh, totally.
I love it. I'm gonna put Zodiac on there because I find that to be one of the most rewatchable movies around. Like I could put that on at any time if like when in doubt, I would just watch it. And it's long as hell, and I love that. I just want to be in that world. Love the topic, love the actors, think it's great. Great Finchman, one of my favorites. And then I feel like I have to put a Nancy Meyers on there as just one of my favorites. I think I have to choose Something's Gotta Give, but I would say it's pretty neck and neck with It's Complicated. It's a hard choice for me, but I think I have to give it to Something's Gotta Give. But they're a bit interchangeable for me.
Okay.
And then I'm struggling on the fourth. I'm like, what am I missing? Like, I guess something older.
I always just go by favorite directors, who you love,
Yeah.
and then just choose one from their filmography
Right.
to sort
Maybe
of...
a Coen's. I mean, it feels like everything is too new for me to put like maybe like Jackie Brown or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood contenders. But I feel like I need to put something classic like from the 20th century on there.
Yeah.
But I'm not good at this.
I know. Well, don't worry about it. We gave so many wonderful films. I want to spotlight like yeah, I mean, yeah, it was like we didn't say Martin Scorsese, but I know we both love him. Paul Thomas Anderson, obviously. Wes Anderson. Noah Baumbach. I almost love every single Noah Baumbach movie. Squid and the Whale is probably like if I was actually put to the test. I think that's my favorite movie because it deals with divorce. And I think it's like one of the funniest movies I've ever seen about a very, horrible time in
Demonic
people's lives.
daddy.
Yeah, and a very horrible dad. Yeah, so I don't know. I hope, I think you have a letterbox, right?
Yeah, but I don't have a top four.
Okay, well,
I only log what I see in theaters, but I'm considering next year maybe I'll log things that I watch at home too. But I used it this year just to see what I saw out in the world.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I was just going to be like, if you wanted to keep an eye on what, Amy and I are watching and loving, I would go to Letterboxd. I'd say the same for Goodreads, for me, if you want book recommendations. Okay. I think that somebody did ask, can you recommend the top 5, must see films? Man, if you're new to films, and you want it like
Hey, I say throw in, if we already recommended The Apartment, then see what else Billy Wilder has up his sleeve. Do Double Indemnity.
Right.
It rips. Barbara Stanwyck rocks. And do that.
Yeah, I would say that. I would say yeah, I'm like it's hard for me to go back into the like what would be the entry point, for me, because like I would be like Goodfellas is my favorite film of all time, but I was like, if you were watching a film for the first time, would Goodfellas be like a great way to sort of dip your toe in the water to film, because it's it's long. Some people don't want a violent film.
It's good filmmaking on every level, I'd say.
Yeah.
I also saw that again in theaters. I think that was this year at the Vista. And I was like, damn, this movie's fucking awesome. Like, I feel like I sometimes over the years have looped it in with like, because it's kind of like a bro favorite.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, it's so good.
Yeah,
like the storytelling is just like, it's so good.
Yeah, it's one of the best movies of all time. It's yeah, in my actual top, 4 forever. I would say something like, I mean, if you've never seen I would say like okay, the Coen brothers and Wes Anderson would be sort of like for me easier to sort of get into because they're so fun, and then if you like anything from their filmography, you sort of take it to the next level. But I
Yeah.
would say something like Fargo kind of blows your mind if you watch it because it is so funny, but it's also a, a true crime, film in a way. It also the score is beautiful. So something like Fargo, and then something like Royal Tenenbaums on the Wes Anderson. And if you've never seen Royal Tenenbaums, it kind of you'll never see another movie like it. And you only get that feeling from other Wes Anderson movies because he completely owned a space where no one can ever touch it again. And
Right.
anyone who even tries, it's like, what the hell are you doing? That's Wes Anderson stuff. Like completely created a niche in filmmaking. And I
Yeah.
think he's so celebrated too. Like every filmmaker loves him. So I would do something from his, whichever strikes you from like a Wes Anderson movie, like if Rushmore sounds more enticing or The Life Aquatic, and then do a Coen brothers, whichever seems more interesting to you, and then see sort of, who they love and like branch out from there. But I don't want to deter someone who like watches something and they think it's slow or whatever at first, because you really have to be patient with some films and really have a lot of like trust in someone at first. So those would be my
Right.
recommendations.
Yeah. That sounds good. I think they have a good place to start.
Yeah, yeah. Think about some of that stuff. You want to answer this Freaky Friday Bravo Celebrity question?
Yeah, if we could Freaky Friday for one day with a Bravo celebrity, who would it be?
Okay. Well, you think, and I'll just say mine. I want to be really, really rich for the day. I want sort of a Mr. Deeds. Is that his name? Mr. Deeds?
Yeah,
When Adam Sandler became rich for a couple months.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I want to either be Patricia, I said. I would
Uh-huh.
love to interact with a butler. I would be the one that frees their butler for a day. And I'd be like, can you set up your martini first? And can you set up a couple food items just so I could have the experience? Then I'd be like, go out into the world and go watch a film or something. But I'd love to be really rich. And then I also thought Terry Dubrow, like,
Yeah.
he's on another level. Like I was trying to think of like rich people, and
Right.
like he's kind of like I would who is another what's another Bravo celebrity pair that is as rich as Heather and Terry? I would love to be
Yeah.
Terry for a day and see what that life is like. I wouldn't do any surgery, obviously, because I would still have my mind
Right.
in his body, but it would
Right.
be like his day off. I would want
Right.
to do.
Yeah, he has a lot of fun. I feel like I'm gonna do like a vain answer and just be in the body of someone that's hot that like I would get to walk around for a day looking like them, and I'm gonna choose Sierra
Oh my
from
god.
Summer House because she's like smoking hot.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that's a different way of thinking about it. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, it would be so cool to be, that hot for a day, walking around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Lisa Vanderpump to hang out at Villa Rosa with all the animals and pets.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
nice.
okay. Someone's asking your favorite top 3 musicians or bands. You have an answer. I don't.
Okay, let me get I'll I'll do mine. My favorite musician of all time, he's lasted with me for about 20 years now, is Bill Callahan. I don't know, I wouldn't recommend him to everybody, but he started out as Smog. He became Bill Callahan. He's had a wonderful arc, music career. He became a solo artist, but he was always a solo artist, but he just changed his name. And his music is some of the most beautiful music I've ever listened to in my life. The last couple albums have not been great, but you have like 20 albums to go through. He's made some of my favorite songs of all time. Let's Move to the Country is a good one to start with Bill Callahan. It has one of the most beautiful sentiments that I've ever heard in my life. And it was one of the things that made me Megan and I, with moving to Pasadena when we thought our lives were going to end when we were young. And we thought that it was devastating to leave the cultural epicenter of Los Angeles. It's a kind of a weird thing to think about, but it was like something that we were listening to over and over again. It's kind of like a fun new way to think about life. So I
Right.
love him. Drake, controversial, but he is completely, his career has completely coincided with my LA life. Starting in 2009, when I moved out here, my friend and I were listening to his first album, Thank Me Later. And then every single triumphant moment in my life has sort of had a Drake soundtrack to it in a way, to the point where I was an early adopter. I have like deep, you know, love for him, you know, as a fan or whatever. And then so to the point where now like I'm defending him on every level, because I'm like, you're not going to take away one of my sacred artists, Kendrick, with your absolute bullshit. I'm not standing for it at all. And I'll say it to the rest of my life, you know, like you're not going to do away with one of my favorite artists the way you did. It's absolutely disgraceful. And then Weezer, my oldest band that I've ever loved. They're my favorite band. I love Rivers Cuomo. They're still good. And I that's the longest I've loved a band, and they're still good to where I'm excited for a new album that they put out. So those are kind
That's
of a
great.
weird three, but
Yeah. No, love it. I'll be totally frank. I feel like this makes me sound like a weirdo, but like I don't listen to a ton of music anymore. I am a podcast head, so when I'm in my car or like around the house, I'm like always listening to podcasts. I used to be more of a music head in my teens and 20s. You know, I was like a millennial indie girl of the aughts. The Shins, Belle and Sebastian, Broken Social Scene, Bright Eyes, all that kind of shit. Animal Collective. Like now, if I'm more likely to listen to like the Beatles or like I don't know, like Motown or something. If I'm gonna listen to music now, um, I'm just like I kind of fell off. Fell off music. And then, you know, I listen to stuff as it comes. Like I did Brat Summer. I listen to Beyonce every time she has something new. You know, I'm enjoying the Sabrina Carpenter of it all. Like I'm keeping generally with the times, but I'm not like, I don't have like my favorite album of the year. Like I'm like, I didn't do that.
yeah. Yeah, I totally understand, and I feel like a lot of people have probably come to that place, and I know that I'm sure that's coming for me too. It's kind of sad to think about, but music defined my life for so long. Movies and music,
Yeah.
specifically those two, are like my life, and so I listen to so much music still, but I have stopped keeping up with new music. I now have no urge to try to listen to whoever a contemporary artist is, like besides, you know, Big
Lil
Thief.
Xan.
Yeah, Little Xan and stuff like that. But I love rap music so much, and I have such vested interest in rap just because also I've been listening to rap since I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
And rap is going through a real fallow period right now. It's rough for rap heads. So I know I know that this will, you know, my days will come to an end as well, but I still probably listen to music just as regularly. It's just more like listening to the music that I've always like loved over and over again. But I was gonna say, follow me on Apple Music if you want to see what the hell I'm listening to. Riley Hamilton on Apple Music.
Yeah, everyone's always posting their Spotify Wrapped or whatever, and I'm like, mine would just be like Beyonce, Lady Gaga, and like nothing else. Like I'm like not cool.
No. Well, I don't think the music that I'm listening to is very cool anymore. I'm just not letting it go from my life yet, but I know that eventually it won't be able to hold its power for much longer. Okay, well, you have a good answer to this one. If you, Amy, could be a fly on the wall for an iconic Bravo moment, what would it be?
My gut response was Andy Cohen's baby shower. I got a clip of footage the other day on Twitter, I think, and I was like, damn. I know we've talked about that it's performative of Rinna, or people were like kissing the ring. It was kind of like grotesque in a certain way, which is why I want to see it. I love that it felt very like a bacchanal, like just like fucking crazy. It felt like something that could never happen again. I feel like we're in a post HR Bravo world now where it just feels like that wouldn't ever happen again. They're like standing on tables. He's like, dance for me, bitches. Lisa Rinna's like, fuck you, get on the fucking table and dance for your dinner. Like, it's just, I remember watching it on Instagram stories that whole day being like, what the fuck is this?
If you ever find, I mean, you don't need to do any work for me, but I kind of like, I need to see, because I don't really, I want to know, I want to see the Snapchat compilation of what the hell they were doing there, because the idea of just Lisa Rinna dancing on a table is like my worst nightmare. But I know there must have been other fun stuff that happened. But that's a great one. I really couldn't think of anything. I was like, yeah, I was like, this is like, so I loved that road trip that Ariana took for her NASCAR birthday,
Uh-huh.
but then I was like, I don't want to be a literal fly, because there
On
were
their
like
toilet.
flies. There were like actual flies swarming them around. But something about how scrappy that road trip was, and how sort of like how bad things were getting them in that RV, and then the kind of high and low of that trip was really, fun to me. And I felt like I don't know, that was like just a fun trip, but I think that it was kind of a nightmare for them with all of the stuff that was
Right.
going on. So I don't know if I
Right.
want to be a fly on that, but I thought that
Right.
was like a fun trip.
Yes. Someone asked us if we did a little turtle cutie meetup, and they said we should, which we should.
Yeah.
Where would we do it? And I say Villa Rosa, open the gates. It would be like how they always make Lisa host their old engagement parties and bridal showers and stuff. We'd be like, Lisa, please, you have this beautiful vista. We'll put up some umbrellas. We won't go inside.
Yeah.
We'll put the porta potties up. Just let us do it.
Yeah. It would almost be like do you remember like there's that thing like Peer Space or whatever, where you could like
Uh-huh.
rent out a place for like a production or something? Like if Lisa
Yeah.
would just let us have a little, put that on, for us to I mean, I would hope that we wouldn't have to pay money, but getting access to Villa Rosa in some way would obviously be great. And then I'll say one that's like realistic that would be easy is somewhere like Ye Rustic. Getting that
Mhm.
back room. I mean, how many
Yeah.
how many Turtle Time listeners would want to actually show up? Like,
I know. I never know the answer to that. People also asked us if we would ever do like live shows or a tour. And I'm like, yeah, but like, who would come?
I know. I don't know. I have to work on my I'd have to work on my anxiety before, like the
Beta
idea of,
blocker.
yeah, wow, if it could be a beta blocker solution, then yes, we can do live shows. But the idea of doing that, like putting that on our plate right now, just seems like shocking. But yeah, it would be fun to do a meetup someday.
Yeah. No, we totally should. We have to get our shit together.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to find, I feel like we should just do a handful more.
Yeah.
What is the next one that strikes your fancy?
All right, we've talked so much about films that I think I have to say goodbye to films. Like we've talked a lot about them. Right?
Have you
Uh,
been to the Magic Castle?
yeah, I like that one. I was just looking at that. Yes, I did. They make you wear a suit. It was one of the first things I did in Los Angeles. I feel like it was probably 2010 or 2011. My friend knew a magician.
As
And
you do.
you have to have a friend of a magician, and I thought it was so fun. I had to borrow a suit. I didn't have a suit, and you have to dress nice. And I remember walking in, and the piano, a ghost was playing the
Mhm.
piano, and I said, "Holy shit! How the hell does this work?" And I said, "Will you play Bad Romance by Lady Gaga? Because apparently you can make requests." And the ghost at the piano started doing Bad Romance on the piano. I was like, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life, in sort of
That's sick.
a castle. Yeah. And then I don't really remember the magic show very much, but it was fun as hell. How about you?
It's fun. You just have to expect to get ripped off. Like they
Yeah.
force you to eat dinner there. It's not very good, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I've also given blood at the Magic Castle, which does grant you a return ticket to go to the Magic Castle.
Where are they pulling the blood out in Magic Castle?
It's like in the main room.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that. That's great. How many times have you been?
Life hack.
Yeah, that's so cool. Give blood. Yeah, that's great. How many times have you been?
I think just the once. I went once regular, once blood.
Okay.
And then I never used my blood certificates.
Yeah. I mean, I will
Jokes
say,
on me.
I will say, yeah, totally. They got your blood. It does say something that we've never been back. I do
Yeah.
think it's a.
You prepare to get, if you drink, I
Yeah.
think you must.
Yeah.
You have to build in that you have to get obliterated.
Yeah.
I'll speak for myself. I know that if I'm going to the Magic Castle, I need to get very drunk because I get stressed out about the performances, like when they're
Yeah.
coming around and trying to entertain you. I'm like, if you blow this, I will have to walk into the sea.
Yes.
And it's not like my favorite thing, but it's such a cool institution that I don't think you need to go very often.
Yeah. And I want to say that, like I might not have done the best version of it the first time. And if I went back, maybe they'd be like, no, you don't go there. You go to the
Right.
big secret cave where they serve wine. I'd be like, yes, why the hell did I go to the main showroom? So I didn't do the best version of it. And obviously I don't love magic enough to go, but I would say it's worth it to go. But I think, is the Chateau Marmont near Magic Castle? It's not the same thing.
It's further west.
It's not the same thing or whatever, but like I would rather, it's not the same thing at all. But you could see somebody doing magic at the Chateau Marmont and you get that Hollywood legacy and it's more open-ended and you can walk by the rooms and pretend you're staying there and stuff. Like I don't know if Magic Castle would be on my you gotta go there list. Oh, I like this one. What is the worst Bravo show of all time? I'm saying it. I think for me, the one that I've actively watched and I've seen every episode of is Southern Hospitality by far.
Brutal.
It's brutal for me watching it. I gave it all the deference in the world. By the time season 3 finale came on, I was like, this is the worst finale I've ever seen. How the hell is this cast getting renewed? They are so, I mean, no offense, and I love them all as individuals, but they have created some of the worst entertainment in Bravo history. Those Republic kids. I can't even stand thinking about it. What's your favorite Bravo show? Or at least favorite?
I mean, that's a good answer. I also couldn't get through that. I'm like, what was so bad that in history that I would even say? Because I'm trying to think of things that were sort of one and done or not on very long, like DC Housewives or like Dallas Housewives. But I'm like, those are good. Right. So maybe I'll just agree with you. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
if anyone else has some obscure answer I'm not thinking of, I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, it's like I wanted it's a top tier show. Like it's one of the 50 that is regularly on, and it's entering its 4th season. But I just found Southern Hospitality intolerable for its run. Like I actively disliked it, and I think that the Emmy Will thing is my worst dynamic like in Bravo history. Like the thing that it boggles my mind the most, how long they have been beating that dead horse. Oh, I want to say there's a good book question just to get out of the way.
Yeah.
I would go to Goodreads. I'm a very active Goodreads user. If you want to hear or see some books I love, I have a list of my favorite books of all time. I think like my recommendation for if you ever want to hear about our movies or books or music, just follow me in those platforms because I'm a person that loves cataloging. Shit. Well, you say some book recommendations first if you have any, and then.
Well, yeah, I'm not as voracious as a reader that you are. I think I talked about it at the time, but I've thought about it all the time since. I was very into. Oh my god. I don't want to get the title wrong. That Dust Bowl one, Worst Hardest Year or whatever.
Yeah, I remember talking about that.
The hell. Hold on. Oh my god. Why doesn't it? I'm telling you, these Google AI results are an absolute joke.
Yeah, they're horrible.
It's called The Worst Hard Time by Timothy Egan. It's devastating. I will never shut the fuck up about the Dust Bowl and how crazy it was that America already had like a Mad Max era. We were in like total turmoil. People were dying left and right from the dust. Like everyone was just choking to death. Animals and children and old people alike just literally dropping dead. Our nation was just like brought to its knees. It's like the craziest shit I've ever heard. I was like, how are we not talking about this literally every day? Like the combination of the Dust Bowl and like the financial crisis and how like fucked everything was. And like, I can't believe it. So that's my recommendation.
You just sold me completely because I've only scratched a little bit of the dust of the Dust Bowl. Like I watched the first 2 episodes, I think, of the Ken Burns documentary. I do think it is so shocking that something like that happened, and I want to know more. So I think that's a wonderful recommendation, and I would probably read that book too, or finally finish the Ken Burns documentary because it started out and it was so great.
We spoke of Susan Orlean earlier. Her book, The Library Book. It's about the LA Library, sort of in the guise of being about the LA Library fire in, I think it was like 88 or 89. It was the same day as Chernobyl, so no one really cared internationally that like the downtown main LA Library like burnt up completely. But then because she's amazing, as you see in The Orchid Thief as well, she weaves in all of this other LA history and like the history of libraries, period, and
That's
like
cool.
all these cool vagabond, like pioneer people that ended up like how libraries were like men's clubs and like all this stuff. It's really cool. So I really like that book too. I read it like a few years ago and it really stuck with me. I always recommend that.
That is that's awesome. Two great recommendations. I mean, I love the library. I might read that
I'm
book as well.
obsessed.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's kind of hard because I have no idea what our little turtle cuties or Villa Rosa VIPs are interested in. I'll just say some recommendations like the one of the last great books I read is The Shards by Bret Easton Ellis. Kind of like what we're talking about like kind of in the Maps to the Stars vein of sort of like a dark Hollywood tale. Bret Easton Ellis is the main character of this fictionalized version of his life, and he's like going to shows in the 80s in LA and going to movies and talks about all these like Sherman Oaks staples. And I already love LA history enough that I'm like such a sucker for it that I'm just talking about that. But there's also this crazy like serial killer aspect. So it has like this Zodiac angle to it while he's also like talking about going to see movies every day. And it's like, if anybody read Less Than Zero, which I'm reading now, it's just a way better version of Less Than Zero because it's the milieu he likes to explore, but the plot is so much better because there's this like crazy serial killer that's like killing kids in his high school. So that's a very fun book. For politics, the book Game Change, I absolutely love. It's about the Democratic primary between Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. I didn't follow politics in that era, so reading it, it's like the most interesting history I've ever read about how awful they were to each other during that campaign, and it's so interesting. And then it also has people who'll be interested in the John McCain, Sarah Palin half.
Oh, right.
That is also so interesting about how that decision was made as for her as a VP. And then one of my favorite books about film is My Lunches with Orson, where this guy named Henry Jaglom went to lunch with Orson Welles every day because Orson Welles just sat at this restaurant for 12 hours a day for 20 years. And so people would just hold court with him. And this one guy said, what if I brought a tape recorder and just listened to Orson Welles talk shit about everybody at the end of his career when he was jaded and he couldn't get or any money for any film finance? So it's one of the funniest books I've ever read in my life because Dustin Hoffman will come in and Dustin Hoffman will be like, Orson, oh my God, I love you. What are you eating? A big crab bucket? And he'll be like, yeah, great, good to see you, Dustin. He'll be like, that piece of shit, he sucks so bad in Tootsie. Did you see it? It's horrible, that movie. And he just talks shit about every person in Hollywood. It is so fun. But I would go to Goodreads too because I do have a list there. I have so many recommendations for books. Like I would talk about it for years.
I think 2026 make Amy read again is my campaign promise.
It's all about for me personally, and for hopefully this is applicable. It's just about finding a book that no one says you're supposed to read. Like you hear about books all the time. That a book within 10 pages or 5 pages, you're like, I have to keep reading. Like, and that's what Easy Riders Raging Bulls was. It was so entertaining at the start that I was like, I'm not stopping. You just don't force yourself to make it through a book if you don't love it after 20 pages.
Yeah, totally. No, I need to find easy reading. If you've been listening to this podcast, I've been saying that the whole fucking time. But post-COVID, my brain got fried. I remember in 2019, I read like 20 books or something. Like I was doing good, and then I am now brain dead.
Well, I'm being deceitful because audiobooks have changed my life.
Yeah. I guess I didn't even factor those in. I mostly listen to celebrity memoirs. So I feel like that's not like, I feel like that like double doesn't count.
Oh my God. No, listening is reading. Listening to a book is reading. When you read words, you're listening to them in your head and reciting them. And so I think audiobooks are the best thing in the world if you can't actually sit down to read a book. It's hard sometimes to find the time. Okay. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I read oh my God, why am I blanking? What's it called? Brave New World for book club. It was like what was the theme? It was like not like End of Days, but yeah. And I needed to finish it in time, and so I did a thing where I would listen to it, but then when I read it to get back on track, I would listen while I read it to like give myself like a launching pad to be like I would physically read it while listening to it. and then take the audio away, and I'm like, now you can read
That's
it.
cool. To sort of like you got like a warm water to like settle
Yeah.
into. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. 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 And I want to say, yeah, I don't get a chance to just sit in the corner and read a physical copy of a book. It's like when I'm taking the garbage out or doing dishes, or I get to
Yeah.
walk for 30 minutes, that I'm listening to a book, and the narration is like make or break instantly. If you don't like the person's voice or it's just not interesting, I turn it off and
Yeah.
just go to the next one as quick as possible. All right, let's do
Totally.
these last fuck, marry, kills to end us out
Okay,
of
good.
this thing. Okay.
Should we do? Some people submitted multiple. I feel like we should choose one per submitter.
Okay. I mean, they're so easy, but yeah,
All
whatever.
right, you do it then.
Okay, well, fuck, marry, kill. Okay, Kyle Cook, Tom Sandoval, Craig Conover. I mean, you gave me the easiest assignment in the world. I'll fuck. Probably I'll make love to Kyle Cook. You know, easy to kill Tom Sandoval now. I'm just gonna do it, and then I'll marry Craig. I want to live on that beehive with him and pick peppers. I think being married to Craig wouldn't be too bad for me, I think.
I swapped to marry Kyle. Fuck Craig, because I don't really want to hang out with Craig day to day.
But what if Kyle treated you as like? What if he was shitty in marriage as he is to Amanda?
Well, I'm thinking like if I must, like I just take Mary as like means you hang out with him.
Oh, all right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I meant like betrothed, like every day I see you, and I hope you don't cheat on me. But no, you're right. That's a great one. Okay, I don't know if I should do the I don't know if I should do some of these.
Why? Because they're women?
Well, yeah, because it's kind of like you know, I don't want to. I shouldn't say who I want to have sex with. You do this one: Lala Kent, Hannah Berner, or Catherine from Southern Charm.
Okay. Let's see here. I feel like I've never forgiven Hannah. I don't like her. I'm gonna kill her.
Really? Oh my God. That is one of the biggest turtle time divides in history. We have like only 2 or 3 things that we never agree on, and Hannah Berner is definitely one of them. Okay? I mean, of course, and the world agrees with you.
I get why people like her. I'm just not that charmed, and I don't really want to hang out with her, and I do not want to have sex with her, so.
Okay. She has the
She's getting
lowest
the
Q
axe.
score in Bravo history, according to Kyle Cook.
Yeah. I feel like maybe Southern Charm Catherine, you gotta fuck. But I don't really want to hang out with Lala married.
That's a hard one. Good job to this Liz who did this.
But I guess I'll just stick with that. But I feel like Lala claims she's good at sex as well, and she does eat cookie.
Totally. I think that's perfect. Of course.
Something to think about. But
yeah, that's great.
Do you want to do there's a Shag, Marry, Kill VPR edition. Do you want to just choose from any men?
Yeah. I think at this point I will marry. I don't feel bad about. I would marry. Oh my God. I could marry someone from Vanderpump Rules. I'd probably marry Stassi, to be honest.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Who am I missing?
Ken Todd.
Oh, I can marry Ken Todd. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll
stick with your initial gut.
But then now I'm in tricky territory. Now I have to have sex with someone. I don't think I can do this one. You do your VPR edition.
Okay. What if I do kill that guy? Well, does it count as Vanderpump Rules edition? The guy that fucked over Lisa? Cedric.
Oh yeah, you can kill. Yeah, you can murder Cedric.
And I'm gonna marry Chef Joe.
Oh my God! Could you imagine the feast? You'd get to try out the specials early before Lisa even gets her lips on it. That's amazing. That's a good one.
And then I would have sex with Shane Davis.
Really? That's awesome. That is so cool. Oh my God. We just saw him recently. That's so fun. All right, that's great. All right, yeah, okay. Kyle, Austin, Craig, did we already do this one? Kind of. Yeah, it's just Austin thrown in there.
In this case, I'll kill Craig.
Okay. Oh, right.
Fuck, I kind of want to shag and marry Austin.
Damn, we'll just have sex with Kyle and then marry Austin if you want.
Okay.
Okay, that's cool. Lindsay Hubbard, Kim Zolciak, or Teresa Giudice?
I give you permission to answer.
Really? I think what if
You
somebody
have to. There's a gun to your head.
okay, is it it's not bad to say, right?
No.
Okay, I would make
This is
love
a kooky bunch right here.
Okay, I would make love to Oh my god, this is rough. This is not rough because I don't like it. I think I'm like, who do I want to marry? Because Kim, I'm a little worried to marry Kim just with all the
Yeah.
financial troubles. Like I couldn't keep us afloat, and she'd be possibly gambling. I think I'd
Yeah.
marry. I think I'd marry Lindsay Hubbard,
Okay.
and I'd have to. I'm not. I would have to. Get Teresa. Oh no, wait. Yeah, I'd have to make love to Kim. And
Okay.
then say goodbye to Teresa.
Okay. She's toxic.
Yeah, I mean, I love Teresa, but I don't know if I want to marry her or not right now. Do I want to make love to her? What's this
Right.
Jack Sandoval Schwartz one?
Yeah, there's a. Well, okay, that's kind of hard.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I have to kill Jax. He's worse than Sandoval. Let's be real.
Kill Jax. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, after what he's done, I'm killing Jax too.
Oh, but then the other two, that's really hard.
I'll say it. I'll make love
Okay.
to Sandoval just once. It would be,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how long it was or what happens, but I would make love to him, and then I'm marrying Schwartz. Hopefully, he
Yeah.
got out of his horrible behavior with Katie, and he would treat me right in a long marriage. I love Schwartz,
Yeah.
and I think he's
Yeah.
fun and sweet. I would marry
I'll
him.
follow you on that.
Wow, so
Yeah.
make love to Sandoval.
I guess it's horrible. As horrible as it sounds. Better than an eternity spent by his side.
Yeah, of course. Just make love to him once. All right, well, I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, that's it, right? That's it.
Yeah, we did it. We gave a lot.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
I'm sorry. I think it's like 2 hours and 30 minutes long. But, we were taking it easy on ourselves, and we kind of just put every question up there. And
God forbid we do some producing.
I just gotta say, it's just hard, and it's before Christmas, and we just wanted to give you all content. I don't know if this was necessarily fun, but Amy and I were just trying to give our answers to questions, and I hope that we made some recommendations. We hope that we answered everything that you were any burning questions you have, and
Yeah.
hopefully maybe this doesn't have to have so much weight on it next time if we ever do it again. We can make it more of
Right.
a staple. But anyway, it's the end of Christmas. We hope you had a wonderful time. We've got a lot of stuff coming up, normal scheduled programming coming up soon, but we hope that you're enjoying your break, and Amy and I will be back to discuss all of the stuff that we missed over the break very soon.
Yes. Ta-ta for now.
Good.
See you next year.
Yeah, goodbye.